The last time we were together, we were looking at the kingdom and we were learning about how the kingdom is unified, but yet that this unity of the kingdom is something that has to be stewarded. Stewardship is something that is very important in the Bible. God speaks of it often. And looking at ourselves as stewards helps us to understand once again how relationship is at the foundation of all of it. See, a steward is not someone who is just merely a worker. A steward is someone who cares for something because they love it, and so they tend it and they nurture it. And this is what God wants us to do with His kingdom. And God has equipped us to do this. And God has given us what we need in the gifts of art and creativity to be able to use that in a loving way for His kingdom. And the wonderful thing about it, once again, that we know is that we are not just workers trying to please this angry boss or this demanding boss. No, we have a God who gives us everything we need. He anoints us. We saw this already in Exodus when God wanted the tabernacle to be built, how He equipped Bezalel and Aholiab and all of those artists. And the same is true for us. And in fact, in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, Paul made this very clear when he said that our abilities, our capabilities don't come from within ourselves. Only God has equipped us and made us able to do that which we need to do. And so looking at ourselves again as stewards who've been given everything we need, it helps us to understand that being an artist is not just a job, it is a calling. It is a calling to be a steward, to work out of loving gladness that comes from having a relationship to our work. Relationship is at the core of everything. We have a relationship with God, a relationship with His kingdom, and in fact, God desires us to have a relationship with our own work. That's what it means to be stewards who nourish with tender care. He doesn't want us just to be artists who are manufacturing, making, and producing simply for gain. Another thing to understand about being a steward is that what God gives us is a portion of His Spirit. And we can know very clearly from the Bible that God gives us the amount that we need. No more, no less. And so we don't have to be comparing to others or trying to compete with them to have more gifts, to be more skilled. That is not why we train. We train in order to be better stewards. We have everything that God has given us, all the power necessary to engage and persevere in any creative task. We're equipped with all the necessary talents, so we're able to accomplish everything that He's set before us. Matthew 25 gives us a great example, a parable from Jesus where He says the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country, who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, another 1, each according to his own ability. He goes on in this story to tell how these stewards took these gifts and they enhanced them, so they developed them and grew them, each at different amounts. And so we understand that our role as an artist is to be stewards, not for ourselves, but for each other. Peter made this very clear in his first letter in chapter 4, verse 10, as he says, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. It's a wonderful, joyful thing when we discover that being an artist, we are stewards. We are working with tender care. We are so set apart from the way the world is doing things. It's not competition. It's not a striving to be better than the next person or a striving to grow, or it's not a fear that we're not good enough or fear that we're supposed to be doing better, that God is demanding more and more and more from us. That's not it at all. We can understand that we are working with God as stewards, taking care of His kingdom and all that He has given to us with everything that He has given to us, because we are anointed stewards of His grace.